Good morning, day 177, cooking down the freezer, refrigerator, and working pantry. Still going at it. Alright, so to this challenge, I've also added my declutter challenge. So I won't be decluttering every day, but I'm going to be doing quite a bit of decluttering. Or simplifying. I like that word better. So I ordered my donation people again. They're going to be coming in a couple weeks, and I'll find lots of things to give them again. So I'm a lady on a mission, and I figured if I do a room declutter and allow myself 2 weeks per room, I should be able to get it done within a year or so. At least that's my ambitious goal. But 2 weeks to declutter a room should be a good time frame. And even if I only work an hour or half an hour per room a day, I should be able to get it done. So I'm trying to make this elephant a little smaller so that it's doable, because for years I was a bargain shopper. I loved to find bargains. It gave me a high. And it actually served me well for a lot of years, because I had some really, really nice things that I used, but now I don't use them anymore. So it's time to pass it on to somebody else. And I'm actually enjoying this process, because every time I do it, and every time I get a bag together and think to myself, this is going to benefit some senior dogs, because that's who I like to donate to, it gives me a really good feeling. And I don't have as much pain leaving things go. Is it still hard for me? Oh yes, it's hard. Because as you saw in my last declutter, a lot of the things that I had were brand new. I never really even used them. So that's what I keep in mind when I try to simplify my life, because as I get older, I don't want all this stuff weighing me down anymore. So I guess it's a rite of passage in a way. Do I regret some of the things I bought? Oh yeah, I certainly do regret some of the things I bought. And I think to myself, well, that could have been money in the bank, and but nowadays, even the money in the bank or in your investments is going down, 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 and it's something to worry about. And so I don't want that either. So I want some security. I want some food security. I want some financial security. And if I can get rid of my things that I don't use anymore, I'm not getting rid of things that are useful. Not at all. I'm just mainly getting rid of clothes that I don't need, because I have plenty. Even if there was a solar, or not a solar, but an ice age coming in, I'd still have enough clothes to keep me warm. I have enough blankets. I have all that stuff, because that's stuff that's still useful. And hopefully I'll never need it, which is fine. But those sorts of things I'm keeping. The things that I'm lightening my load from are clothes I no longer wear, which I have a lot of, tchotchkes that I don't want to dust anymore, dishes that I used to use for entertainment that I don't want to wash anymore. And even if I entertain my family, we usually eat from paper plates, and I cook in things that are easy to clean, because I'm at a stage now where when my family comes over, I want to enjoy their company. I don't want to be there washing dishes or after they leave being up till midnight doing the dishes. So I'm trying to simplify everything. And the more I do that, the better I feel. And it's going to leave me time to do other things that I prefer to do. So anyway, that's my plan, and hopefully you'll come along with me and maybe do a little bit of simplifying, a little bit of cooking from scratch, whatever your shtick is. All right, I will be back in a little bit, and we'll see what's for breakfast. I have some new things in the refrigerator because we went out to Olive Garden, my mom and I. She took me out to dinner, so I have more food to eat this week, but I'll be adding my freezer food to that too. All right, I will be back in a little bit. Good morning. Time for another coffee chat. Cheers. Do you like these coffee chats, or are they totally useless? I don't know. It helps me because I can focus and keep track of what I'm doing. And that's part of the reason I started this YouTube channel, was to sort of document my life and my progress, and maybe someday my children or grandchildren will give it a look. Maybe not, but hopefully you guys will give it a look. Best cup of the day. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about my grand plans to simplify. And they are grand plans, but they're doable. So I've decluttered in the past, or simplified, whatever. Anyway, and I've been somewhat successful, but then I get distracted. And then I'm here, then I'm there. Now, the summertime is a little bit more difficult for me because I go to the boat sometimes for an overnight, and sometimes we go somewhere on a little trip. So to balance the decluttering and also my social life, sometimes, it gets in the way. Anyway, here is my grand plan. And some of you might find this useful, and some of you might find this totally silly, and you can let me know that in the comments below if you want, or if you have other thoughts of how I could do this better, that's always welcome too. Alright, so the other day I did a video and I made a project book. So I'm finding this to be very helpful. I mean, it's just in the infant stages. It still needs to grow a little bit, but so far so good. I'm making myself notes and plans. So what I've discovered is I divided it into sections of what I want to declutter. So I actually have 22 areas in my house that I want to declutter and get rid of things. So I figured if I spend 30 minutes to 1 hour per room, it's very doable within a year. Now, if you take the 52 weeks a year, some of these projects are going to take longer than a week. Other areas are going to take a few days. But I'm going to allow myself a week to 2 weeks per area to get it decluttered. Now, most of it I have separated by rooms. Now, I don't have 22 rooms in my house. I think I have 12. Now, I'm including foyers and hallways and, wherever I have stuff, I'm including that as an area or a room. So I think that is a plan that is doable. Now, where am I going to put the stuff that I'm downsizing? Because I can either stick it in my car and take it to donation right away because I don't want it hanging around, or I can leave my car out of the garage and stick it in the garage until the donation people come around, which is probably what I'm going to do, because gas here now is $5 a gallon. Actually, it's over $5 a gallon. That is criminal in my book. But anyway, I'm not going to digress in that area. But that is sort of my plan, and so far it's going okay. Now the only thing I've noticed myself doing, which I do a lot, is I'll be working in one room and then the next day I'll be in another room and then I'm in this room. And my whole thing with this project book is to try and keep my focus on one room at a time. Because if you're all over the place when you're doing this process, you're never going to feel like you're satisfied and like you completed an area or a room, because you don't get it done. You just, because you're all over the place, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Yesterday, my mom had to go to the dentist, and it was actually a long appointment. So after the dentist, she was hungry and wanted to go to Olive Garden. So I got a take-home meal for $6 and the eggplant parmesan, which I only ate half of. So I actually have more food to eat in my refrigerator now that I have to cook down. Well, not cook down, but, heat up. So that's a nice thing. That'll save me money. And my garden isn't ready to harvest yet, but I do have my little arrow garden type thing that has some salad and lettuce in it, and I also still have some in the fridge, so I can eat that. So I don't think I'm going to have to go to the store this week either. I'm going to try not to. I can't think of anything that I need. I still have eggs, I have creamer, I have rice and beans and pasta, and you name it, I have it in my store here, in my home store. And that is stuff that I'm not going to declutter. That is stuff I'm going to organize. Now there's a big difference between decluttering and organizing. I love to organize. I think it's a lot of fun. So at one point I had actually thought about becoming an organizer, but then, you have to work with crabby people, and I don't want to go back to work. That's not in the cards unless absolutely necessary. So anyway, the food supply is good. The stuff is good. And yep, and the coffee's good. It's good too. So I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll either chat more or cook some. Speaking of cooking, I guess I'm going to chat a little more right now. If you want to save money on cooking, get yourself basic ingredients that you can make a lot of meals out of. If you eat meat, get yourself basic meats: burger, chicken, fish, a pork, maybe, whatever else. And then just keep a running stock of that in your freezer. And if you're vegan or vegetarian, either make your own proteins, gather recipes. There's tons and tons out there. You don't have to buy things like Beyond and Impossible meats, although those are nice to have for convenience. But find some that you really enjoy eating and just keep a running stock of that. So it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. But making meals from scratch, from either frozen or fresh produce, and not overbuying. Now, I found myself, I overbought a lot on produce in the past, and now I use it all up. Before I buy any more, I just make my meals around what I have in the refrigerator. Right now, the only produce I have, I have carrots and I have romaine lettuce, and the rest is in the freezer. What I do, if I have extra onions and things, I dice those up or cut them in, slivers, and I freeze those. Same thing with peppers, celery, anything like that. So I have a stash of that in the freezer, and that way my produce doesn't go bad. So that's been working out really well, and I've been doing this process now for 6 months pretty much, and the more I do it, the easier it gets and the more organized it gets, and the system actually works. So, okay, now I'm going to stop chatting, but I'll be back in a little bit. All right, let's see what's for breakfast, day 177. I cooked some eggs yesterday, so I'm going to have an egg and some American cheese and some mayo and some bread. I'm going to make some toast with a hard-boiled egg and cheese with mayo. No lettuce. So I got a few extra things here now. I think I'm going to have some potato salad with that. I know, weird for breakfast, but you guys know I just eat food. Doesn't have to be any specific type for any specific meal. And then we got some Olive Garden salad and my leftover eggplant and some more pasta. So that will probably be dinner. So that's what's left in my fridge, some romaine, some carrots. I still have this chocolate chip cookie dough. It's vegan from Costco, and it's good, so I might make some cookies. That sounds like a good thing. I'm going to make some cookies for future me in the afternoon with a coffee. And then I put out this naan bread. I still have sausage, Beyond sausage and pepperoni, so I can also have a pizza for dinner. Still lots of food. We won't starve. All right, I will meet you at the stove. Okay, I'm going to try out microphone number 3 and see if I still talk like I'm in a dubbed movie. Anyway, I just have some toast here. I'm just going to have a simple sandwich for breakfast. And this bread is from Costco. I got that the other day when I went for dog food. And it's good. This was the country French, I think it was. But honestly, I like Walmart Italian bread better.
and it's cheaper. This was $5.99 for 2 loaves. And of course the Walmart bread is $1.10. So, but you know, sometimes you have to pick up things wherever you are, and that's where I was, so that's what I did. All right, well, I'm just making a very simple sandwich, and I like eating this American cheese and egg. I think it's tasty. So, I don't know, is my mouth still moving with my voice? Who knows? Well, if this one doesn't work, I'll just keep one microphone just to vlog outside. And you won't see my mouth anyway, so it won't matter. And you guys understand, right? All right, I gotta give my puppies some egg because they love egg. All right, here we go, guys. That one's for you. That one's for you, and that one's for you. No, you're not eating her egg. No, you had one. The little one always wants to steal Chloe's food because Chloe's kind of pokey. She doesn't just gobble food down. All right, well, there's my sandwich. Breakfast for day 177, and I'm going to have some of this potato salad with it, just because I like potato salad. And why not? You eat up potatoes for breakfast, so why not potato salad? So there's that. I'm going to put that aside a minute and talk about this chocolate chip eat pastry cookie dough. Non-GMO, and it's vegan. It's also from Costco, and it's pretty darn tasty. So here's what it looks like, and it makes soft, chewy cookies, thin cookies, just the way I like them. The outside is a little crispy, and the inside is soft. So this little tray makes 4 cookies. It says a teaspoon, but I make a little more, a rounded teaspoon. And this has made a lot of cookies. So I would get it again. I think it was like $6 or $7 for the tub. And you would pay that anyway for already made cookies, or good cookies. Not Dollar Tree cookies. Although Dollar Tree has some good cookies too. I buy cookies there sometimes. I like the chocolate peanut butter ones when they have them. Even though Aldi's has the same kind, it's sort of like Girl Scout cookies. The Aldi's ones are better, and they're only $1 something. Well, I don't know what they are now, but they were only $1 something. So Aldi's chocolate covered peanut butter cookies are really good. All right, so this is for future me this afternoon, and a couple for my grandson. This is going in the oven at 350, and I bake these about 12 minutes. All right, I'm going to eat my breakfast and check my mouth, and I'll be back later.
Well, I just watched my last footage, and microphone number 3 was the worst of all 3. So that will be going back for sure, because it just wasn't loud enough. I mean, I had my phone turned all the way up, and I really had to listen. So I'm sorry that this is a process, but I'm trying to make better content, and so the microphone was one thing that I tried to improve. So anyway, breakfast was good, and let me show you what the cookies look like. Don't those look good? So they do spread, and they're a little bit crunchy on the outside and real chewy on the inside. So those are good. And I like the idea of having ready-made cookie dough in the refrigerator, because that way, when I do want a cookie, I just pop it in the oven and wait a half an hour until it cools off, and I have a cookie. All right, well, I will be back later. I'm not going to be doing gardening today because everything is really wet out there. So, but my pak choi is about ready to eat. I also saw some kale that I could already start eating, the young leaves, and yeah, it's happening. It's starting to come up. So, all right, I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, it's dinner time, 1:77. All right, let's see what we got in the refrigerator. I think I'm going to have some of this Olive Garden salad. And since I have it, I have the eggplant parmesan. So I'm going to have that. And I'm going to have some of this 5-cheese ziti. And that's going to be my dinner. I'm glad I had some leftovers because I spent the day purging things. All right, I'll meet you at the stove. All right. Boy, I'm happy I have leftovers today. So I spent the whole day, well, several hours, let's put it that way, going through pictures and putting them in albums and purging some things, photo frames and things like that. So I've been wanting to do that for a long time. I had a shoebox full of photographs. I put those all in albums. So now that's neat. And that was in my living room. And since I'm decluttering my living room and organizing that, I'm very happy that I got that done. So today was a big trip down memory lane for me, and remembering what it was like to be young, and some friends that have passed on, and relatives, older relatives, some of the parties we used to have. We used to have hat parties where everybody wore a silly hat to the party, and then everybody would have a little bit too much to drink, and it was so much fun. And then there's pictures of my parents and the parties they used to have with all the people that I knew. My parents never left me with a babysitter too much. When my mom worked, I had a woman that used to watch me, and her husband used to call her Mary Yap Yap because she talked all the time. So I even found a couple pictures of Mary Yap Yap. So it was a bittersweet experience, but every now and then it's fun to look through your life, and it made me realize how blessed and what a good life I've had. So I'm very appreciative, and I'm really happy that I got to do that today. So do you guys ever take trips down memory lane and look at your old photographs? Or now everything's digital, so I do have a couple of digital frames, so I can see the pictures on there. But a lot of times when your photographs are digital, they're like hidden away. You don't really see them. So anyway, that's what I purged today and what I organized today. So like I said, I'm very happy I have leftovers. So that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.